Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with us, as always, is our local wrestling expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, wrestling has come to a conclusion. WCS did extremely well. Tell us what, who, and where, and what.
Very good showing, a very strong showing as usual. 2 state champions out of the WCS Sports Conference, 2 runner-ups, and a lot too many to mention on this show, but maybe we'll come back and have a longer wrestling segment next week. But plenty of finishers, state placers, finishers, medalists. Almost every school was represented. That was very cool. But 2 state champions. We'll start with the back-to-back, Mr. Back-to-Back, Jackson Clevenger. Back-to-back at heavyweight and AAA, 35-2 on the year. Obviously a pretty good football player as well.
The pride of Fairview and Snappies right now, man. They need to put his stuff up in there, no joke.
They need to put a picture of him up there that says the champ eats here.
The champ eats, the back-to-back champ
like
eats
that?
here.
But, hey, dual sport athlete, didn't hurt him. But back-to-back champ for Jackson, congratulations to him. And then in AAA, Skylar Coffey finishes off the season with a state championship at 220 pounds, 51-1. One loss was to a kid out of state. Don't know where he was.
So for those at home that may or may not know, how long is a wrestling period?
2 minutes.
And how many periods are there?
3.
So it's a total of 6 minutes that you have, quite possibly the hardest 6 minutes in sports.
Correct.
All the way up until I think the semi and maybe even the championship round. And
Championship round.
He did not even spend a minute on the mat in the first 3.
His 3 minutes, his three matches going into the championship round, he had wrestled 1 period and 7 seconds. And then he won this one, I think.
Explain to people the domination of that. I mean, it's hard to.
It's a first round knockout every single time.
It's the Mike Tyson, get in there, they throw a couple of shots, and then the undercut to the chin, and it's ball game.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You remember his quote, don't you? Everybody has a plan until Mike Tyson hits him in the face. That's kind of the same thing with Skylar. They had a plan until
he had many quotes
until Skylar locks up with him.
And I Eat Your Children's one of them. That's okay.
But hey, no, seriously, 51-1. That's unbelievable, and he's a junior. So he's got a chance to be back-to-back as well. So
undefeated next year, I'm calling it.
Well, like I said, we need to find out from Coach Smith. I don't know where he was from, but I know the kid that beat him was not a Tennessee kid.
So Skylar Coffey, Iowa State, is that still one of the, you got Iowa State, you've got UTC, obviously is a top dog in there, Nebraska, Midwest schools.
Oklahoma State.
What's the opportunity for this young man to go into the next level?
I mean, I think there's no doubt that he's going to go on to the next level. How high? But I mean, it looks to me like he's a Power 5.
And he's a dual sport athlete as well, track and field.
Track and field,
yeah.
Catherine was his sister who
won
every discus and shot put competition, I think, of the last.
You think Coach Crawford would like to have him out there on the line a little bit?
You seen him lately?
Yes.
Golly. Whew, good looking. Yes, I think he would, but he loves wrestling, he loves track, and so, and his father, Otis, the SR, he played football at Tennessee. So
he is
athletic family for sure.
Yep. So
we want to mention too, Wes Miller from Nolensville, 220-pound class. He got runner-up in a very, very good match. He finished off the season 57-4, and Riley Bennett of Fairview, runner-up at 132. You make it to the state tournament and place, you're a dude. You get first or second, you're a real dude.
When you get those championship matches, how they turn the lights off, they get the spotlights going, you come walking out, you feel like you're in the WWE there for a moment. God. The Rock's walking out, it's just it's pretty neat. It really is.
Can we not, maybe the region tournament, can we not bring that to the starting lineup introductions?
What, if we get the district tournament at the Ag Pavilion next year, we will have that set up with a black curtain, smoke.
Are you going to do it?
Look like Goldberg coming out, sucking in the smoke and blowing it out, sparks flying.
I'd love it.
I think it'd be pretty neat.
Here's what I'd love to see, though. Wouldn't you love to see a Skylar? This was your idea.
Yes.
You're always
a +1, man.
A +1, Skylar Coffey. I'd pay.
+1, Skylar Coffey, Jackson Clevenger, off the grid. Nobody sees it. Only a small VIP section, high payers.
Whoa.
Come in there. We may have to get I don't know how they do about the weight rule on that. Jackson's obviously Skylar's going to be giving up quite a bit of weight. But you know what? Apollo Creed, Rocky. This is one of those
Have you seen Creed 2?
ding, ding. No, I have
I
not.
watched it this weekend. Highly recommend it.
Would you like to give your review today on the sports show?
Great movie.
Okay, we're gonna move on into basketball. Now, basketball is in my favorite time of the year. We've got the championships finished. By the time everybody sees this, all championships will be finished and we'll be into the regional tournament. Instead of running the gauntlet and beating up on each other, now we take it out to the masses to see how good we are in those region tournaments. Let's start with Brentwood on the girls' side. Brentwood 16-9, beat Page 61-48. That was a huge upset for them in the district semis. Then they lost to Dixon County this week in the District 11 AAA championship game, 61-56. Can't say enough about Coach Thrash, what he's done. Trussell twins, Osgood, the whole group, the Lady Bruins played really good, had a big lead, kind of let Dixon back in it. It's at Dixon. If you've never played in the airplane hangar out there, it's massive, and it is so loud. They had a huge crowd, man. I'm telling you, make a lot of boys' crowds envious because that Dixon County faithful came out to watch this championship game. The Lady Bruins came out hot, played well, had a 10-point lead at one time, led them back in it, had a 6-point lead, led them back in it, and then once Dixon got the lead, Brentwood could never regain the lead. Now, they're up to 18 seconds left, they're pressing, ball comes out. Now, if you know anything about Dixon, what is the first thing that stands out to you during the tournament? What is a disadvantage or an advantage for Dixon? I'll help you out.
Don't know.
Vanderbilt benches, end zone
Yeah.
benches. So what does that mean? Instead of the benches being on the sideline, they're on the end zones, right? So now if you want to send a sub in, they have to run literally all the way to half court to get up there. They missed a sub at one point in time. Did not cost them the game, but I'm just giving an example. He went to send a sub in, and by the time she got up there, they'd already put the ball in play. Obviously, you could see the girl running. Should have stopped the game, let her in. They didn't. But the thing that bothers me is 18 seconds left, you're pressing. Dixon throws the ball in, ball's on the floor, loose ball, nobody has possession. Now, the referees had told them in this last-second situation, the trail ref, the one in the very back, as they're going this way, had to stand as close to the end line where the coaches could go as possible for fear of not hearing the timeout in case they needed it. Then you have two referees that are on the play. You're talking 60, 75 feet away. Blows the whistle, gives the timeout to Dixon. The ball is not in the possession of anybody. Matter of fact, Brentwood had made a move on it. They were going to get a jump ball. Possession error would have gone back to Brentwood for a chance. But that's just the way the game goes. It is definitely. I'm not mad either way. I think it is definitely an advantage for the home team on a situation like that to happen. But we're not going to dwell on that because Coach Thrash, the Lady Bruins, have done a great job. They're going to get another shot. They're going to get another chance at this. Because you know what's going to happen in the region matchups now? I really think, and we'll get to that in just a minute, I really think 11 AAA not only sweeps, they dominate in that first round. We get all four teams through the first round of the regions, and then you're going to have a Dixon Page showdown. Winner goes home, loser goes home, winner goes on into the semis, man, or into the championship game, and also get that sub-state bye. So it's going to be interesting to watch. They will play number 3 Antioch in the regional Friday at 5:30 at Brentwood. The Lady Bruins play Antioch in that number 3 game, 2 versus 3 game. Centennial 4-21 finished out the year. They lost to Spring Hill in that play-in game in the opening round of district play. Lady Cougars have, you look at some positives in there, the silver lining. You look at the win against Nolensville was huge for them to build on. They're extremely young. They played nothing but freshmen and sophomores coming down the stretch, so that time will be invaluable in the future. Yeah,
injuries, they got better. It's kind of hard to tell by the way the season ended, but injuries kind of took hold. They were already young, as you mentioned, and then they weren't playing at full strength towards the end of the season. But kind of hard to see it from the record, but they did get better, took a step forward this year, and they can build on it going into 2019, 2020.
Franklin Lady Rebels finish at 15-13, lost in a very close one in the opening round to Ravenwood, 39-33. Kate O'Neill, Sydney Ryan, Bergen Alley, all coming back. As we all know that Sydney Ryan will be a household name by the time she graduates from WCS and from Franklin High School. Freshman, averaged 20 points a game this year. You're looking at a 2,000-point score if they can get in themselves deep into. They're going to have to get 4 or 5 games into the playoffs as the future progresses for them, for her to get those extra couple hundred points to get there.
Right.
But I firmly believe that she's the next superstar on the girls' side of the WCS Sports Conference.
Yeah, she can play for sure. And you got to think that they will be further along in the tournaments starting next year. So that'd be fun to watch. She's a player, without a doubt.
Lady Rebels are graduating. Jenny Barnett, Jillian King, Darcy Doran, all graduating. Going on. Those 3 have had really, really good careers. Jillian and Darcy obviously will be playing against each other and against former teammate Holly Harris in that league that they'll play in that collegiate side. So it's be interesting to watch that in the future. Independence finished the season, Tate, 6-21. They did lose to Dixon County in that opening round, 78-47. As we all know, Dixon is the 11 AAA champions. Amanda Haylett, all-district player for them, will be returning. Page, 28-4. We mentioned earlier, huge upset by Brentwood by beating Page. Page beat Spring Hill 79-32 in the opening round, then lost 61-48 to Brentwood. Coach Brock told me at the tournament that Brentwood shot in the neighborhood of 60% from the floor that night.
They shot 77% from three-point line.
There you go. That's pretty hard to beat.
Was it 13 or 15? I think they were 13 for 17 or 13 for 8. 77% for threes. The other thing I thought was neat, I read his quote in the paper. Page dominated I shouldn't say dominated. Page won every statistical category except field goal percentage.
He told me that. Yep, he told me that. Speaking of 2,000 points, Faith Wilkin eclipsed the 2,000-point marker, and I have to give a shout-out to Jay Pallas, Dixon County.
First class.
They came out, gave her a ball. Didn't have to do that. It was at their place during the district tournament. This young lady is a player, man.
Oh, yeah.
She is such a good player. They didn't even break a sweat in this consolation game against Ravenwood. I know Coach Harris would probably want to bite my head off, but Paige came out after getting beat like that. You knew it was not going to be very pretty, and they didn't even break a sweat and just did their thing. I think she had 18 or 20 points in about 21 minutes of play.
Yep.
So
Laney I think had another 15.
Right.
They got 4 girls that they're going to score double figures every night, and I mean they're just fun to watch. And that whole I don't know. You don't ever want to lose, but we kind of talked about it. You felt like it was. There was a loss coming somewhere for Page. Hadn't been beat since December 11th. And what are the odds? Brentwood's a great team, but what are the odds of somebody hitting 77% from three-point line against you again?
Well, they'll play number 2 Cane Ridge. I'm sure they're over there thinking, great, we're going to play the number 3 seed, which they were assuming that Dixon and Page, if you went by the chalk, would be in that 1-2 slot. But Cane Ridge is going to play in that 2-3 game. Page coming in as the 3. On Friday, 8:30 at Brentwood. We'll look at those matchups in just a second. It does not look favorable for Cane Ridge, but we'll talk about it. But she always has a good plan.
Well, that's when you were saying about we sweep. That's the one you always have to worry about is Cane Ridge. This was the worst possible matchup, in my opinion, for Cane Ridge.
Ravenwood finishes the tournament 15-11 right now. Beat Franklin 39-33. Lost to Dixon 53-34. Then lost to Page. They're not done. They got to bounce back. Jazz Harmon obviously didn't get a lot of minutes in this last game. Will play against Page, but obviously she is a threat to be reckoned with. 20 points a night easily if she plays well. They're going to have to play the number 1 Hillsboro team 4 o'clock at Brentwood on Friday. I feel very comfortable that Ravenwood can win that game, and we're going to look at the potential matchups in just a second. But Jazz Harmon also all-district tournament and all-district regular season. Great player. Coach Harris team will bounce back in the regional tournament.
I agree, and she's going to be a big part of it in that Hillsboro game.
Summit 13-11 finished the season on a loss, on a very close loss to Brentwood, 37-35. Truschel gets fouled with 1.1 seconds left. Get this, season on the line. Goes in 2 and makes in 2 to win 37-35. You got Colson and Marley Henderson. It was all-district tournament coming back. Lady Spartans will be really, really tough team. Both Summit and the Spartans and the Lady Spartans next year are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's how tight they are. Here we are. They had to win on 2 free throws at the end of the game to win with 1.1 seconds left, and then Brentwood turns around and beats Page, who, I mean, it's
It's crazy.
We knew there was going to be two good teams left out.
Right.
And happened to be Summit and Franklin.
On the 12AA side, Nolensville, the Lady Knights, 22-6. They open up their district tournament play by beating Forest 52-33. They beat Marshall County in the district championship 49-46 in overtime. Tate, here's the key thing. They were down 4 with 18 seconds to go. They make them turn the ball over twice, score both times, get in overtime, beat them in overtime. It's just one of those games, man. You're talking about a gritty performance by this team without their leading scorer that's going to be out the rest of the year, Zoe Pillar. But, man, how well Grace Baird, Parker Leftwich, and those girls have been playing out there for Coach Ladd.
Yep. Surely Coach Ladd got Coach of the Year, did he not?
Yes.
Okay, good. They're not done. I mean, I think, like we talked about, they've kind of they've figured out who they are without Zoe, but I still think they have just as good of a chance to go.
I think they've got a great chance to get state tournament. I think if they win the region, they go to the state tournament.
Yep.
Because they're going to have a little bit of an easier road. Not that they can't beat East Nashville if they happen to get upset, but I really think that they've got a great chance of getting to the state tournament. They'll face Hickman County in the regionals at East Hickman High School Friday, 7 o'clock in regional play. Fairview, 6-21. The girls lost to Stewart's County 50-38. Had more wins this year than they've had in the last 5. Coach McGowan's group's going up. The middle school's doing well for them, feeding into them in that 11AA side. And had some pretty good wins, including a win over Hickman County, who's going to be facing Nolensville in the regionals. All right, let's look at the 11 AAA side, Tate. Number 1, Dixon versus McGavick. McGavick has got 3 wins on the ladies' side. Would you like to make a prediction on that? It's a 7 o'clock game on Friday at Brentwood High School. Okay, by your look, it's gonna be Popcorn City, running clock. Dixon County will not even. It will be ridiculous. Number 2, Brentwood versus number 3, Antioch. Antioch's coming in 14-8. This is the 5:30 game, the 2-3 seed. Brentwood's already played them once. They won 68-43 in November. Nothing changes here. Another boat race game. So Brentwood advances in this region tournament. Number 3, Page versus Cane Ridge. Cane Ridge is 12-12. They lost to Brentwood 65-42. They lost to Nolensville 52-26, and they lost to Franklin 51-39. I have the utmost respect for her at Cane Ridge.
Me too.
The coach.
Joanne Tribune.
Yes, fantastic woman.
Yes.
But that is
She's
not.
a gov.
That is not. She is, and I love her.
She might have been
I
able
love
to
her.
out high jump you.
I do love her, but this ain't gonna help her.
No.
Because Coach Brock and the Lady Patriots are fixing that flat, just blow them out. I really do. I think running clock, 30+ points.
I think this is the one team that would worry me, but like we said, the worst matchup they could have gotten that year. I agree with you. I think it's I think Paige runs away with it. The only thing is, she's a good coach. She's going to have a game plan, and usually has some athletes. But Paige just too much.
Paige moves
too much.
Paige moves the ball sideline to sideline as good as any team that you'll see, including guys. I mean, they get the extra pass. They can swing from one side of the floor to the other really, really well. That gets defenses in bad positions. It's going to cause a lot of fouls.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fouls. Paige is going to go to the free throw line quite often. They're going to be in the bonus early, and it's going to be over.
Coach Brock's going to be drinking that Starbucks pretty early on in the night.
That's correct. Number 4, Ravenwood versus number 1, Hillsboro. Hillsboro won the championship on the other side. They're 10-8. They did lose to Ravenwood in the Christmas tournament 31-27. They also lost to Franklin 61-32, lost to Summit 54-48. They did beat Indy 51-48 early in the year. So I'm playing 7 degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon here. Hillsboro, Ravenwood.
It's a sweep. Get out the broom. All 4 of them are moving on.
All right, so that means Ravenwood would have a battle of the woods to go to the sectionals, to get into the regional finals, and you got Dixon, Page. Would you care to look into your crystal ball and tell me who's going to be in the region championship game?
Paige, Brentwood.
Page and Brentwood.
Who you got?
I would agree with you on that. I think Page gets that upset over. It's not upset. They get revenge on Dixon after wanting to match up with them in the championship game. So now they're going to come back. They're going to beat them, put them out, and you're going to have Page, Brentwood right there for the region championship, which is a good thing because that means we're sending 2 WCS teams to
sectionals.
2 sectionals. You're looking at it over there in the sectionals. You're looking in through the haze. You've got Rossview and you've got Beach are the two teams that's kind of emerging from out of there.
I like our odds this
I
year.
like our odds too. All right, on the boys' side, Brentwood 23-6. They beat Page 49-33 in that opening round. They had to beat Page a week before that. Page was up 9 with a minute to go. Harry Lackey went on a run himself to beat Page single-handedly, but they bounced back, played really well as a team. Then they beat Ravenwood 51-37 in the semis. They play Franklin in the 11 AAA championship. It doesn't get any better than that, I don't think. It's the 1-2 seed. It's chalk coming up there. No upsets on those two teams. To see,
Not a heated rivalry either.
There's not. No, this it will be. I'm just glad it's in a neutral location, so we don't have an upheaval somewhere.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be something else. As of the time that we're taping the show, they have not played. Would you care to make a prediction in this game? Can Franklin beat them for the third time, or is Brentwood coming back?
Of course they can. Can Brentwood beat them? Of course they can. But I just, I think they've got the best 1-2 punch in Glover and Hainsworth. And, the guy just.
Jordan Bruce, he's got a signature board in every gym he goes to, and that's where he stands.
That's right.
And you're either going to have a choice. Are we going to give up the three, or are we going to give up the layup? And the minute they suck in, Jordan Bruce from his signature board bust you for 6 the other night.
That's right.
It's pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
Matt Thurman on the opposite side of Hainsworth, if you double, buckets for Big Curl. Kemp shooting 80% from the floor because he's not going to shoot a whole lot, and when he shoots, you can ring it up. And I haven't even mentioned the other kid. Who is the other kid?
It would be
Reese Glover.
he's
Happened to be the 11 AAA.
I think he
MVP.
scored a few points.
He scored a few points.
30 the other night.
Yes, he has gone into the tournament. He's got 51 total points, I believe is what it is. It's 25 a game. It's not bad.
No. Strong. So, but
Preston Moore,
Brentwood, last time they played, it came down to a last second shot.
Ben
We saw it.
Mills,
They had a chance. They had a
Cole
chance to tie
Massey,
and go to OT. Yep.
Winley.
I think Ben Mills
Harry
is the key, man.
I think, to me, he is the comeback player of the year. I think he is he's done phenomenal all year long. He's got to stay out of foul trouble to try to negate, but there is going to be that means Harry Lackey's probably going to have to guard a post if they go straight man. I think their best defense is playing that zone, that little mixed up zone. They'll go between a 2-3 stretched, or then they'll go to like a diamond and one on Glover with Harry on top. It's just they'll be mixing it up, trying to throw them off. So it'd be interesting to see. Centennial, shocker, man, 18-11. They finished their season, lost to Ravenwood in the opening round, 48-45 in OT. I was at this game. Dusty Williams did not get a chance to play due to injury, but Carlton, Williams, Garrett Poor, Carter Speedy, Andrew Ellison, all are coming back. They have to be probably odds-on favorite right now to be the 11 AAA favorite. But man, they get beat in overtime. You know how good they've been playing. Ravenwood comes out. Chase Siebert has a great game, 19 for him. Carlton had 20. It was back and forth, and it just in overtime it was one of those things. It's kind of a youth movement. All of a sudden, we forgot what was going on because the game is on the line. Your season's on the line, and things got to happen. So good season for Coach Froden. Froden also 11 AAA Coach of the Year for Centennial as they finish 18-11. Franklin, 23-6. They beat Independence in the quarters, 67-42. Then they beat Summit in the semi, 71-59. They've won 13 of the last 14. Right now, it's going to be so interesting to see how this Constellation Championship game go because I really don't think Franklin wants to see Summit again in the regionals. So if Summit wins the regionals, they'll be in the same bracket. If they lose in the Constellation, if they lose the Constellation, they'll be in the opposite bracket. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Nobody wants to play Summit Spartans right now.
I wouldn't. And this one got a little bit away from them, but the first two were both 2-point wins by the number one team in the district. So, yeah, I mean, they're athletic and they're big and, yeah, I mean, they're just nobody wants to see them right now. They got nothing to lose. They're not expected to win anyways, right? We knew they were going to pick somebody off, and them getting into the region tournament. Hey, we weren't supposed to be here. I'm sure that can be his message, and they're gonna pick somebody off. So it's gonna be fun to watch. And the two twins, one puts up 20 this night, the other puts up 20 the other night. Tough.
Tristan Conger.
Kanata Wirtz.
Man, I'm telling you. Independence 9-18. They beat Spring Hill 75-74 in an overtime thriller. Then they got beat by Franklin to finish off that year with Coach Kyle and his crew. Like I said, the Eagles finished at 9-18 on season. Page 10-17. Lost to Brentwood in the opening round 49-33. Coach No and the Patriots, double-digit wins and 11 AAA. There's nothing to be ashamed about at all for the Patriots.
No, and he plays a tough non-district schedule too. I mean,
You have to.
you have to.
Yep. And the wins are few and far between any night in 11 AAA. We can see that anybody can beat anybody at any given time. Ravenwood 11-14. They beat Centennial opening round. Chase Siebert, like we mentioned a while ago, had 19. They lost to Brentwood 51-37 in the semis. They'll play Summit in a consolation game. Can the Raptors beat Summit? Yes. Do they beat Summit?
No.
Summit Spartans get third.
I think Spartans are a matchup problem for Ravenwood.
Summit 11-12. They beat Dixon twice in a week to get to where they were.
And
if they didn't beat Dixon in the last regular season game, they don't even get to the 4-5 game.
Yeah, that was big. And we failed to mention Ravenwood beating Centennial. They had beat them the previous Tuesday night, beat them twice in a row. So no fluke, no fluke.
That's right.
But right, yeah. Summit beat Dixon twice in a week and then lost to Franklin 71-59. That score is a little misleading. For 3 quarters, which you play 4, but for 3 quarters it was like the previous 2 games. I think they were even up at the end of the first quarter, the Spartans were, and then our man Reese Glover got hot. But that game, 71-59, was closer than that.
I can't
Agreed?
wait. Yes, it's every game. They've been in every game regardless of the score. The Centennial game back 2 weeks ago was the same way. They were, they lead for 3.5 quarters, and all of a sudden they have a little bit of a letdown. But man, those guys are going to be so good. They already are good. Can't wait to see what the future holds for them. Nolensville 18-9, beat Community 65-41 in the 12 AA semis. They'll play Marshall County. They split with Marshall County earlier in the year for the championship game here. 87-43 was the win, 72-68 for the loss of the championship. Who gets this game between Nate Bladorn and the Knights against KJ Johnson and Marshall County?
I think the Knights, but
it's going to be a tough one.
it's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be really
one of the
interesting.
best players in the state.
And the hottest team in the WCS Sports Conference, Tate, Trey McCoy and the Fairview Yellow Jackets, 27-2 currently. They have won 13 straight games, looking for the third only district championship in school history. If they win, it'll be the first time in school history to win back-to-back. They beat East Hickman in opening round 67-44. Lewis County in the semi 77-49. You see a trend there in these lopsided wins.
Yes.
They'll play Camden in the championship game. By the time this airs, we'll know who the winners are, but today we do not. They beat Camden twice in the season, 81-56 and 102-73. Is this a popcorn city game for the Yellow Jackets? I don't think it's a running clock.
I don't think it's popcorn.
I don't think it's a
city,
running clock.
But
this game
double-digit win.
I do. I think 15-20. I hate to see it go a little closer than that, but it could be. It's a championship game. You know that Camden's going to do anything and everything they can. They may come out and go 4 corners on them. But at the end of the day, Franklin's got too much firepower for Camden. Camden is a running gun team. They like to get out and shoot it, which plays right into the hands of Fairview. So I'll be interested to see what happens. So let's look at the 11 AAA matchups real quick on the boys' side. Franklin, Brentwood, the loser will get number 3 Cane Ridge, who's 20-8 on the season. Lost to Franklin 79-73. They also beat Franklin 76-73 in the regular season. So this is an interesting note. The 2 favorites going into the district tournament on the other side both got upset. So you got potentially the 2 best teams on the bottom side of the bracket going to play our best 2, according to the chalk, coming into this game. So the winner will get number 4 McGavick of the championship game, 19-6. They beat Indy 56-54 early in the year. That's the only thing I have to go by on the McGavick side. So Franklin-Brentwood, let's go ahead and try to predict a winner here. Who do you think wins this Franklin-Brentwood championship game?
Franklin.
We're going to look like idiots the next day, I'm sure. Franklin's going to win this, so that means it's going to be a Franklin-McGavick matchup, round 1.
Franklin.
Franklin moves on.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if I'm Franklin, I'd much rather see McGavick than Cane Ridge.
So you're saying Brentwood, Cane Ridge, opening round of regional play at Brentwood.
Yep.
Friday. What do you think? Or excuse me, that's a Saturday game.
Brentwood.
So
Yeah, I think Brentwood's a better matchup for Cane Ridge.
Franklin, Brentwood moving on in their respective brackets. Lower half of that bracket is. Summit, Ravenwood. The winner of this game would get the number 2 Overton Bobcats, 13-16. They beat Page 37-30 in the season. They lost to Centennial 82-64. The winner would get the champion over there, which is number 1 Hillsboro 15-8. They lost to Brentwood in the regular season 44-29 and Franklin 69-53. Summit, Ravenwood. You've already made that prediction of Summit, so Summit's going to play Overton in region play, opening play. Does Summit with a bunch of young bucks get over the hump?
Summit will beat Overton.
If they get a region win with this team, imagine what that's going to mean next year. So you're saying they're going to win a region game, they're going to beat Overton, Ravenwood going to beat Hillsboro? This is going to be, well, here's the thing. Let me tell you why. This is a perfect matchup for Coach P. Whitty. Let me tell you why. Ravenwood has not been a high-scoring team all year long.
Right.
Mid-50s, 60s.
That's why they like it.
Is a high-low, half-court offense team. They're not your typical running gun. Now, they have been in the past. They could be this year. I don't know. This is a good matchup for Ravenwood.
I think so, too.
So does 11 AAA go 4-0?
I don't think so, but it'd be neat. I mean, they got a chance, but.
So who gets beat? Hillsboro beats Ravenwood?
Hillsboro
is that what you're
Ravenwood.
Okay.
I hate it, but.
Chase Siebert and boys don't put them out.
I know. Prove us wrong.
Oh, man.
Do you know who the head?
Centennial beat them by 20. So if you're playing Kevin Bacon here, if you're looking at that, I've got to go Ravenwood. Mr. Producer likes my Kevin Bacon.
7
reference.
degrees of Kevin Bacon.
7 degrees, yeah.
Do you know who the coach at Ravenwood before P. Whitty was?
Rodney Thweet.
He's the coach of Hillsboro. It's pretty neat.
Pretty neat. 11 AAA.
So you're saying sweet.
11 AAA is going to go 7-1 at the worst.
I think so. I agree.
Could potentially go 8-0.
Correct.
I hope nobody over there is watching this today.
And Metro?
Yeah.
They are.
Okay. 12 AA. Nolensville will play Lewis County or Creekwood, depending on their win-loss.
Smackdown.
Smoke through there. We're looking at a potential Fairview-Nolensville Regional Championship. How awesome would that be?
Packed out gym.
Fairview will play Community or Murfreesboro Central Magnet in the regionals.
Come on.
I don't know, man. There's 12. Everybody in 12 AA is touting the fact that they're going to absolutely, they're going to sweep 11 AA. That is the word on the street. Everybody in 12 AA says this is going to be an absolute joke. 11 AA is a joke. Well, I would just about agree with them, except for about the top 2 teams, maybe. But the top 2, you know what?
The top team.
It doesn't matter if they're a joke or not. I can tell you one thing that's not a joke.
That's right.
And we'll see what that's all about when we get into this tournament.
That's right.
Right? Don't make
agree.
us look stupid. We already look stupid enough. Come on, Yellow Jackets. Come through for us there.
Here's what I want to know. Which game are you going to be at?
Man, I'm telling you, not on top of that, we've got the WMAA championships happening this week, too. So I'm all over the map.
Grassland's got to be the heavy favorite.
On the boys' side, you've got Grassland, and you're looking at a Page showdown if you go by the chalk. And then on the girls' side, you got a Page, Mill Creek coming into the girls' championships. Here's the interesting note, right? You look on the girls' side. Page 6th grade, champions. Page 7th grade JV, champions.
Oh.
Page 8th could potentially be champions. Page Lady Patriot freshman ball, JV ball, varsity ball. Look at that lineage. Then you look on the other side of the coin on the boys' side. Grassland, 6th grade champions. Grassland JV champions. Grassland boys. I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction right now. Paul Brees. Grassland boys will win the championship in WMAA. Freshman team at Franklin, I think they were runner-up in that
Second.
Metro League.
The Metro League, yeah.
JV team has not lost a game. Varsity has won the district championship. You got 2 girls and boys teams with a lineage all the way back to 6th grade.
Question. I'm not trying to be funny. Could the Grassland
No.
8th grade team
No.
beat?
Spring Hill?
Yes.
No.
Could they could compete in that freshman league?
They would be competitive. Yeah, they could probably.
That 8th grade team could be.
They could probably do the freshman league. Yeah, but at the end of the day, no.
Pretty big. That's going to be a fun game. I saw them up close and personal. And they got a couple of 7th graders on that. Here's the other thing. They got a couple of 7th graders on that 8th grade team. You know what I'm saying? So think about that JV team that won the JV championship. What if those 2 7th graders had to play?
Before we go off there, could Alabama or Clemson beat the Cleveland Browns?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. If Hugh Jackson's the coach, maybe.
If you're still watching this, thank you so much for staying with us here on WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.